Have you ever felt like a storm was raging inside your mind? Waves of emotions crashing, thoughts colliding like thunder, leaving you overwhelmed and directionless? What if there was a way to step back from the chaos, to untangle the knots of your own mind, and see yourself with sharp, unflinching clarity? Imagine holding in your hands a simple yet profoundly powerful tool. Not some mystical relic or secret formula, but a humble journal, a blank page waiting to absorb the weight of your worries and the essence of your soul. The ancient Stoics, masters of inner discipline, understood this power intimately. They knew that clarity does not arise by accident. It is carved from the stone of self-examination. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor who ruled the vast Roman Empire, faced betrayals, wars, and personal tragedies. Yet each night, by the dim flicker of oil lamps, he returned to the sanctuary of his journal. He didn't write for glory or approval. His words were raw, private, often wrestling with doubt, frustration, and fleeting moments of wisdom. What emerged was meditations, not a polished treatise, but the unguarded dialogue between a man and his own conscience, a living record of struggle, self-mastery, and the relentless pursuit of virtue. But how does this ancient practice translate into your modern life, where distractions claw at your attention and the noise of the world drowns out your inner voice? The answer lies not in complexity, but in simplicity: a pen, a page, and the courage to look within. Let's explore how Stoic journaling can become your personal compass, guiding you through the tempests of life toward a place of calm, control, and lasting wisdom. Why did the Stoics keep a journal? Journaling was not just a casual habit for the Stoics. It was a deliberate and sacred daily ritual, a mirror held up to their own souls. It wasn't about documenting the mundane details of their day. It was about dissecting their choices, exposing their weaknesses, and carving a clearer path toward virtue. Each entry became a dialogue with themselves, a quiet confrontation between who they were and who they aspired to be. Seneca's letters, though written to friends, were ultimately reminders to himself. Firm, sometimes brutal, yet compassionate reflections on courage, mortality, and self-restraint. Epictetus urged his students to capture their thoughts on paper, knowing that what is written is anchored deeper into memory. And Marcus Aurelius, writing in the dim solitude of his chambers, used his journal like a compass, steering himself back to reason whenever emotion threatened to cloud his mind. Today, we can adopt this same practice. A Stoic journal isn't just writing. It's training the mind to think with clarity, to see with honesty, and to act with purpose. The benefits of keeping a Stoic journal. 1. Master your emotions. Life rarely unfolds as we expect. A harsh word from a coworker, an unexpected bill, or a loved one's indifference can strike like a sudden storm, pulling us into the chaos of frustration, anger, or fear. But a Stoic journal becomes a sanctuary amidst the turbulence, a private space where raw emotions meet reasoned reflection. With every word we write, we slow down the wild current of our reactions, turning fleeting outrage into something we can study, like a sculptor examining a block of marble before the first cut. What triggered this anger? Was it truly the event itself, or the meaning we attached to it? By documenting our frustrations, not as complaints, but as case studies of the mind, we create distance between ourselves and our impulses. The ink on the page becomes a mirror, reflecting not just what happened, but how we chose to interpret it. In that space, between stimulus and response, we reclaim our freedom, no longer slaves to instinct, but students of life. Isn't that the ultimate power, to face the storm and remain unmoved? 2. Strengthen self-discipline. Discipline isn't merely the act of restraining your impulses. It's the unrelenting battle to govern your own mind before it governs you. Every action you take begins as a fleeting thought, a whisper in the back of your mind nudging you toward comfort or growth. Daily journaling is not just a ritual. It's a mirror held up to your inner world, exposing the cracks you pretend not to see. It compels you to confront your excuses, to dissect the choices you made when no one was watching, and to ask the uncomfortable questions. Why did I falter? What fears held me back? Whose approval was I chasing? In those quiet moments with pen in hand, you become both the architect and the critic of your own life. Each sentence anchors you to your values, reminding you what truly matters beneath the noise of the world. Like a sculptor chiseling away the excess stone, journaling strips you of illusions, leaving only the raw truth. It holds you accountable, not to fleeting desires, but to the person you claim you want to become. Without that daily reckoning, how easy is it to drift, to let days dissolve into sameness, to wake up years later wondering who you've become? True discipline is forged in those silent conversations with yourself, where honesty replaces comfort and reflection fuels transformation. 3. Gain clarity in chaos. In a world drowning in noise, where every notification, headline, and fleeting impulse fights for a sliver of your attention, a Stoic journal becomes more than paper and ink. It becomes an anchor to your inner world. It's a quiet refuge where your scattered thoughts, simmering fears, and unspoken anxieties find shape and clarity. What feels like an insurmountable storm in your mind, the nagging doubt before a difficult conversation, the fear of failure looming over an important decision, often shrinks into something far less intimidating once it's confined to the page. Isn't it strange how the act of writing forces you to untangle the knots of emotion, to strip chaos down into words, into sentences, into logic? A journal becomes a mirror, reflecting not just your fears but the truth behind them. The exaggerated stories you've told yourself, the assumptions left unchallenged. And in that reflection, you gain something priceless, the ability to respond rather than react. This simple, ancient practice sharpens your judgment, making choices clearer and calmer, while peeling away the invisible layers of stress that cloud your day. In a world that urges you to scroll past your own thoughts, journaling demands you pause. And in that pause, you reclaim control. 4. Train yourself for adversity. The Stoics embraced the ancient practice of premeditatio malorum, a deliberate exercise in foreseeing life's inevitable hardships before they arrive, not to wallow in fear, but to cultivate resilience. Picture yourself sitting in the soft glow of dawn, your journal open, the faint scratch of pen against paper grounding you in the present. You ask yourself not just what tomorrow might bring, but what storms may arise. Unexpected criticism at work, a tense conversation with a loved one, or the sudden unraveling of a well-laid plan. What then? How would Marcus Aurelius respond to insult? How would Epictetus endure discomfort? What inner resources would Seneca summon when faced with disappointment? With each scenario, you strip away illusion and confront reality head-on. What parts of these trials rest within your hands? Your thoughts, your responses, your choices? And what belongs to fate, outside your sphere of influence, no matter how fiercely you wish to control it? The page becomes both a mirror and a map, revealing the terrain ahead and the strength already within you. 5. Live with intention. Most people drift through life like fallen leaves caught in a restless wind, tossed from one circumstance to the next, reacting rather than deciding, existing rather than truly living. They wake, move through their routines, and collapse into bed, rarely pausing to ask themselves why. What are they building? Who are they becoming? A Stoic journal shatters that passive existence, transforming each day into a deliberate act of creation. Every morning, you are challenged to set clear intentions, not just a to-do list, but a vision for the person you aim to be when the sun sets. Who do you want to embody when frustration strikes? How will you respond when temptation tugs at your resolve? By nightfall, the journal becomes a mirror, reflecting your victories and stumbles with unflinching honesty. You see not just what you've done, but how you've lived. Were you disciplined, or did emotion seize the reins? Did you uphold your values, or betray them in moments of weakness? Day by day, this practice chisels away at self-delusion, leaving behind the unshakable foundation of a person who does not drift, but directs. A person who chooses. A person who becomes. How to start your Stoic journal. Step 1. Morning reflection. Begin each morning not by mindlessly reaching for your phone, but by turning inward, stepping into the silence before the world's noise can claim you. Sit with a notebook, its pages blank like the uncarved day ahead, and ask yourself with deliberate intention, what are my true priorities today? Not the distractions, not the fleeting cravings, but the tasks that align with the life you are trying to build. Who do you wish to become, and what actions will bring you closer to that version of yourself today? Next, prepare for resistance. What obstacles, internal or external, might attempt to break your resolve? A difficult conversation, unexpected delays, or your own impatience? Naming them strips them of their power. How will you respond when frustration stirs or doubt creeps in? Will you react blindly, or will you anchor yourself in reason? Finally, commit to living Stoicism, not just studying it. When challenged, will you remember that emotions are passing storms, that your judgments, not events, disturb your peace? This morning reflection is more than a routine. It is the quiet forging of an unshakable mind. Will you start strong, or let the day dictate who you are? The choice is yours. Step 2. Evening review. As the world slows and the quiet of night wraps around you, take a moment to stand still within yourself. Reflect on the unfolding of your day, not as a critic eager to assign blame, but as a sculptor studying a work in progress, chisel in hand. Did you live in alignment with your core values, or did you drift, carried by impulses and fleeting desires? Were your words measured, your actions intentional, or did frustration, envy, or impatience seize control of your mind? Which moments tugged at your composure, pulling you off balance? Did you honor your principles when no one was watching? Marcus Aurelius made this nightly ritual his own private compass, a dialogue between the man he was and the man he aspired to become. His journal was no performance, no polished memoir for others to admire. It was raw, unflinching self-examination. You, too, can create this space, a sacred pause to ask, where did I fall short? What could I have done with more grace, more courage, more wisdom? In a world that demands constant motion, this is where real progress begins. In stillness, in honest reflection, in the courage to see yourself clearly. Step 3. Write without judgment. Your journal is not a performance for the world. It is a sanctuary for your unfiltered thoughts, a safe space where imperfection is not just allowed but necessary. Who are you writing for, if not yourself? This is not the place for polished prose or carefully curated sentences. It is the raw terrain of your mind, a place where honesty holds far more value than eloquence. Let the ink flow like a stream after a heavy rain, chaotic and unpredictable, carrying both debris and clarity. Spill your frustrations, your secret fears, your fleeting hopes, even the thoughts you'd never dare speak aloud. Can you hear the whisper of your inner voice beneath the noise of your daily obligations? Your journal is that rare refuge where your inner Stoic can sit across from you, silent but attentive, guiding without judgment. The paper does not flinch at your anger, recoil from your shame, or demand you be anyone other than who you are in this moment. Every imperfect sentence, every fragmented thought is a step towards self-knowledge. And isn't that the ultimate goal? So write, messily, honestly, unapologetically, and let your inner world unfold without fear. The 30-day Stoic Journaling Challenge. What if you could transform your mind in just 1 month? Imagine stepping into each day with unwavering composure, unshaken by life's inevitable turbulence. This 30-day Stoic Journaling Challenge is your path to that inner fortress. Days 1 to 7. Each evening, sit with your thoughts, no filters, no masks. Write about your rawest emotions and knee-jerk reactions. What triggered your anger today? When did you feel envy coil around your heart? Capture every flicker of frustration, joy, or fear. Only by illuminating the shadows can you master them. Days 8 to 14. Reflect on your responses. Did you meet conflict with calm, or did impulse seize the reins? Could a brief pause have altered your course? Through honest review, you'll spot patterns, those invisible chains binding you to suffering, and learn to break them. Days 15 to 21. Choose a Stoic quote that stirs something within you. Perhaps Epictetus reminds you that it's not what happens, but how you react that matters. How would your life change if you embodied that wisdom at work, in relationships, or in solitude? Days 22 to 30. Step into the future. Anticipate hardships before they strike. What if you lost your job tomorrow? What if a loved one disappointed you? Practice premeditatio malorum. Mentally rehearse misfortune, not to invite it, but to rob it of power. By the final day, you'll find yourself steadier, sharper, and startlingly self-aware. You'll no longer fear life's storms. You'll become the calm within them. Final thoughts. A small habit that leads to big changes. A Stoic journal is far more than a collection of words on a page. It's a private arena where your mind wrestles with itself, where raw emotions are tamed, and where fleeting impulses are examined under the cold light of reason. It becomes a mirror, reflecting not who you wish to be, but who you truly are, unfiltered and unmasked. Through daily reflection, you sharpen your judgment, temper your reactions, and cultivate the kind of inner stillness that no external chaos can shatter. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the world, didn't write his meditations for praise or posterity. He wrote to confront his own flaws, to remind himself, day after day, that virtue is a practice, not a theory. So why not follow his lead? Start with a single line, a fleeting thought, a moment of anger, a difficult choice. Over time, you'll witness the transformation. Clarity where confusion once lived, resilience where weakness once lurked. What stories are you leaving untold? What battles are you silently fighting? Open the journal and face them. What's holding you back from starting your Stoic journal? Share your thoughts in the comments. If this video added value to your journey, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more timeless Stoic wisdom.